What's up YouTube, Dal here from Zephyr Games, and today I am bringing you the combo test hand video for the Conclave Control Crystal Beast profile that I showed you guys the other day. You guys well and truly smashed that like button, well over 50 likes, so you are able to unlock this additional content. With all of that out of the way, please smash that like button, hit that notification bell and subscribe so you do not miss out on any more upcoming content. With all of that out of the way, let's go into our first test hand of this deck after a very decent shuffle and a good old cut, being 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That is an awesome hand. Apart from opening up Ruby Carbuncle, which even then isn't the end of the world, this is actually a really cool and really powerful hand. So we're going to start off with the Rainbow Bridge. The only thing that we're really missing is the Crystal Heart, which could be cool, but because we want to go for like full-on control, we're actually going to activate the Rainbow Bridge. And this is going to allow us to search out any crystal spell or trap. So we could search out the Awakening of the Crystal Ultimates, which is really decent. But because we want to go as control as possible, I'm probably going to go for... I probably should go for Miracle, just because we want to control it as much as we possibly can. I could go for Conclave, but I could also go for Bonds. Now, the way you would go for Bonds, it would give you more monster presence. But we're not really like, it's not the end of the world. We're pretty much going to control our opponent with everything we've got. So you can activate your Rainbow Bridge of the Heart. This one's going to allow us to give you an additional normal summon if you want it. We're going to normal summon out the Sapphire Pegasus. This is going to trigger its effect to put a Crystal Beast into the Spell and Trap Zone. Now, if you want to extend, you put the Rainbow Bridge, Rainbow Dragon into the Spell and Trap Zone, which isn't so bad because it will let you get a an additional Sapphire Pegasus from the deck. You're absolutely fine. So then what you do is you'd activate the effect of this. That would get rid of that, and that would summon out another Pegasus from the deck, and its effect would be negated. So then what you want to do is you want to activate the Rainbow Bridge of the Heart to destroy this. Keeping in mind as well that resolving off of that, you should be adding a Rainbow Dragon. That just means we're set for the future turns. You can then activate Rainbow Bridge of the Heart to destroy this Crystal Beast Pegasus and put it into the Spell and Trap Zone, triggering the effect of Crystal Heart in order to resolve and search you out another Crystal Spell or Trap. So what we're going to do on that one is you can go for a follow-up of the Awakening of the Crystal Ultimates, which will give you a form of aggression during the next turn, because it will let you special summon a Crystal Beast from the deck, meaning you can get instant access to the Rainbow Bridge Dragon. Or you can go for ultimate control in the form of Conclave. Now with Conclave, what you've got to keep in mind is the first one that you activate, or after you activate Miracle, will put Pegasus into the Spell and Trap Zone. And then of course you're then going to be able to activate the Conclave. And that's where you want to try and be able to provide as much as possible. So if you go for the Conclave like this, you've actually got a full board of control plays. So you can set the Miracle, you set the Conclave, and you'll set the second Conclave as well. So then the way this would work is we'll play this during our opponent's turn just so you can kind of see it. It doesn't give us much of a follow-up play yet, but we're able to kind of recur a few resources. So you'll start off when your opponent activates something, you activate Miracle, and you'll destroy the Pegasus. The Pegasus will then go into the Spell and Trap Zone. Then what you can do is you can chain link one Conclave and chain link two Conclave. You need to make sure that if you bring out Pegasus, or what you'd ideally want to be doing is bringing out Ruby Carbuncle, annoyingly, because it's in our hand, we're not going to be able to get that, in order to kind of get the most effects out of this. Now, sadly, the Spell and Trap Zones are full up, but what you're going to be doing is, because you're going to be able to trigger this, and your Crystal Beast monster you control is destroy a battle or card effect, you get to special summon a Crystal Beast monster from the deck. So, we're going to go for one Rainbow Dragon. There's no real need to go for a second Pegasus right now, in my opinion. So you can go for both the Crystal Beasts, which gives you a double form of destruction. We'll shuffle this up, and then, so that's one form of negation. Then keep in mind, you've still got both of these as well, so you get to target, you get to send this face-up card from the field to graveyard to target Crystal Beast monster you control, and one card your opponent controls and return them to the hand. So you get to add this Pegasus back to the hand. You can then activate this one again, returning this back to the hand. Keep in mind as well that at the time when we activated the counter trap, on resolution, you could have also activated the rainbow bridge to add this back and bounce one as well. So technically what you've ended up doing in this entire turn is out of your opponent's 6 cards, you've been able to negate one completely. You've then been able to bounce both 2 more cards with Conclave and a 3rd with this. You've been able to deal with 4 cards your opponent has attempted to play, and you're going to leave your board with 2 3k boss monsters. And on top of that, you then have 2 Crystal Pegasuses and a Rainbow Bridge of the Heart to keep playing with. So we'll draw a random card, doesn't matter. Obviously Master's a nice little bonus because we'll be able to get an additional search. But what you're then able to do here is you can activate the Rainbow Bridge of the Heart. And really all you're going to do here is you're going to use this to be able to search out spells and traps. So you'll normal summon the Pegasus. Sadly, I think the only other target we have left in the deck is the final Pegasus because we have gone through pretty much all of our monsters. So then what you're going to do here is you're going to put the final Pegasus into the spell and trap zone. You can then activate the Rainbow Bridge of the Heart, destroying the first Pegasus in order to search out a crystal spell or trap. So at this point, what I'm probably going to go for, or what I would suggest to go for, would be the Awakening of the Crystal Ultimates, purely because this lets you special summon from your hand, deck, or graveyard. And then keep in mind as well, because you've destroyed a card, the effect of Rainbow Bridge of the Heart would trigger, so it will allow you to return this to the hand and return another card to your opponent's hand. So you've dealt with 5 of their 6 cards already, keep that in mind. Then what you want to do here is you're going to activate the Awakening of the Crystal Ultimates, you're going to reveal the Rainbow Dragon, and then I would personally special summon the Carbuncle from the hand. Because Carbuncle has been special summoned, you then get both of the Pegasus from the spell and trap zone, and you're pretty much pushing for game just then and there. Under Nibiru, you can then make a rank 4 if you wanted to, not that you need to, but the only reason that I would attempt to even activate a, or go for a rank 4, is if I've not been able to win the game and I need to Zeus or something like that. You've also got the rank 8 of Dingirsu here if you need to send, and that would confirm that you've dealt with all 6 of your opponent's cards, and then you're pushing in for game. So there's not really anything on the board now because we've been able to bounce so much and control so much. And that's what makes this deck really, really fun to play, is that opening up the right cards will give you pure control over your opponent's entire turn. So we're going to move into our second test stand. I think ultimately we'll end up doing 4 test stands, but I'll do 3 going first, and in those go first ones, because it is a control deck, I'll play through my opponent's turn. In regards to the go second test hand, obviously the deck is not designed to be a go second deck, but I'll show you exactly what you can do to attempt to try and pull bits apart, but you will rely on Bridge of the Heart a lot more than you would usually. So after another decent shuffle and a good old cut, our second test stand of 5 will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wow, Ruby Carbuncle loves this hand. Jeez. Okay, cool. So you've got the ability to deck thin a little bit here. You've also got the ability to activate Prosperity to attempt to protect these with something like a Gamma. So it's entirely up to you on which one you prefer to do. I'm going to go with the normal summon of the Crystal Master to deck thin a little bit to make sure I can get exactly what I need off the pot of Prosperity. We're going to use the effect of this to tribute it to add either a Crystal Monster, a Crystal Beast Monster, or a Crystal Spell and Trap. Keeping in mind that at the moment, that is our one normal summon. So there's no point in searching out a Crystal Beast Monster. You ideally want a Crystal Spell and Trap. Now, I quite like Crystal Bonds, but we have also opened up Rainbow Dragon, so searching out the Awakening of the Crystal Ultimates is not a bad choice here either, because technically, if we're able to get a Bridge of the Heart off of the Prosperity, or a route to said Bridge of the Heart, we'll then be able to pretty much go full combo. So we're going to shuffle this up, we're going to cut it up, and then we're going to resolve the pot of Prosperity. I would go for 6 because we're digging for what we need. Come on, come on. Okay, cool. Wasn't the greatest, but it wasn't the worst either. This one can technically search us out the Bridge of the Heart. So I would probably take, if we do this one for the Bridge of the Heart, I kind of wanted it to special summon the Carbuncle, which is a bit of a disappointment, but it is what it is. I'm trying to think of the best way of doing this. So that would get us the Bridge of the Heart. It would search to get the Conclave. So you take the Rainbow Bridge, and the reason you take the Rainbow Bridge is I would then activate the Rainbow Bridge. Searching you out your bonds. Where are you, bonds? There we go, bonds. I'll then activate the bonds, putting the Rainbow Dragon into the spell and trap zone and searching you out a Pegasus. Obviously, you can't activate this effect because you've got Rainbow Dragon, which is a little bit annoying, but is what it is. Activate the Awakening Ultimates. This will then let us take a Rainbow Bridge card. So we are going to search out Rainbow Bridge of the Heart. We're then going to activate the Rainbow Bridge of the Heart, giving us an additional normal summon. This will allow us to normal summon the Sapphire Pegasus. Trigger the effect of the Sapphire Pegasus to put a Sapphire Pegasus from the deck into the spell and trap zone, setting yourself up quite nicely. I personally wouldn't destroy the Crystal Beasts in the monster zone right now, because that would leave you completely defenseless, bar a Conclave which we would be about to set, and you wouldn't have the zones to do so. Prosperity is not in my hand anymore, it is in the grave. So we'd activate the Rainbow Bridge of the Heart. I would destroy one of these. I'm probably going to destroy the Pegasus because I can loop that back from the graveyard. And I'm going to search myself out a Crystal card. So I'd be going for Crystal Conclave. So then what you're going to be able to do here is you're going to be able to set the Conclave, you're going to be able to set the Miracle, and you're going to be able to pass your opponent's turn. Now, what this is going to be able to provide you with a level of control is this is going to give you 2 bounces plus... So 2 bounces, a negate, and you're going to recurse some resources. So again, the first thing your opponent activates, you can activate Miracle on it. Obviously, if you wait for them to put a monster on the board, you'll be able to guarantee the bounce of this. You'll destroy the Pegasus, and it will join the spell and trap zone. Then, of course, you would have the Chain Link ability. So you can activate the Conclave as it is an if effect. And then what that will allow you to do is, again, you get to special summon a Crystal Beast monster from the deck. Because you're only special summoning 1 Crystal Beast monster, I would then be trying to get everything out of the deck because I'm about to regain as much resource as I possibly can. So you're going to summon out your Crystal Beast Pegasus, we'll put it in defense, that will trigger its effect to put one into the spell and trap zone, and you'll go for the remaining one back from the graveyard. You've then got the ability of activating Crystal Concave. Depending on what one you want to add back to your hand, personally, I'm probably going to go for the Rainbow Bridge Dragon. Because then that will allow you to add back the Rainbow Dragon there. And then keeping in mind that this would also be able to trigger at some point, depending on where you want to do it, to return this to the hand and send one card, bounce one card your opponent controls. So you've currently dealt with 3 cards your opponents had to offer. If they do attempt to attack, you can then still have the ability to just summon this down, which means during your next turn, you'll be able to do so again. So let's continue to play through this one. I'll shuffle this out and we'll draw one more card. It doesn't matter hugely exactly what we draw because we do have the Bridge of the Heart. So we draw into a Crystal Master, which is really, really good again as well, because what this is going to allow us to do is pretty much flood our opponent's board again, or flood our board specifically. So you can activate the Bridge of the Heart, additional normal summon of the Crystal Monster, activate Master, using its effect to search you out a Crystal Spell or Trap. I'm going to be going for Crystal Ultimates. And this is just like the more aggressive play that I like to make. You can then activate Rainbow Bridge of the Heart if you wanted to, and this would then let you put this into the spell and trap zone. And then what you'd be searching here is you'd probably be going for something a little bit more control aspect. And you could go, like, if you can't confirm game, I would go for a Conclave, or I would... yeah, I'd probably go for a Conclave or another Awakening, because then you can trigger the Awakening during your opponent's turn. Regardless, what you want to do here is you're then going to activate the Awakening, and you're going to use the special effect, again, reveal the Rainbow Dragon, special out the Ruby Carbuncle, and then she's just going to trigger to go, cool, let's go, son, and like completely flood your board with monsters, which is absolutely ridiculous. You can then trigger the effects to get the remaining Crystal Beast from the deck if you want to. That will then give you the ability to kind of recurse some resources later on down the line. Keeping in mind that at any point during that play, what you could have done is you could have used this to bounce this back to the hand, to bounce a card your opponent controls back to the hand, and kind of go from there. So this is pretty much your end board state at the moment. You can go into battle phase. I believe it's exactly game. So 2-4, it's 5-4, 8-4. Yeah, so just that is 8-4, and then add this on top is 8-7. Then you've got the ability for, like I said, rank 4s if you want to kind of build it from there and go from that point on. So again, you can kind of see how we've been able to consistently control. Obviously, you've dealt with 3 cards in comparison to the 5 in the first test hand, but dealing with those 3 cards sometimes might be enough, because a lot of cards you're then returning to the hand, a lot of cards you're negating, Obviously, you need to be careful in the tier element matchup, because if they've got a danger in hand, returning cards to the hand just makes their stuff a little bit more consistent. But being able to bounce them to the hand also stops their effects triggering in the graveyard, unless they have, of course, that danger. So it's not the end of the world on that one. So after another very decent shuffle, we'll do our final test hand going first. And we're going to shuffle these up, cut these up. And our test hand go first will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, thankfully no Ruby Carbuncle in this one. Again, this hand's absolutely cracked. It is a little bit sad that we are missing the Bridge of the Heart card. And it's a shame it's not a crystal card, but I understand it. If it was, it would be bonkers. So again, we've got a lot of plays that we can do here. The idea is you probably want to deck Finn in order to get to the Bridge of the Heart, which will make it a lot better. So you go for your Master, use Master's effect, let you search out a crystal, spell, or trap. Now, again, if I wasn't relying on the Pot of Prosperity and I wanted to play this safe, the best card to kind of go for would probably be the Awakening of the Crystal Ultimates, because this can then ultimately get me to the bridge if I want it to. The issue with doing it this way is you then rely on the Pot of Prosperity, because you don't have a normal summon to get to the board. You do put yourself in a little bit of trouble. The other option, and probably the safest option around on this one, just to maintain and guarantee you're going to get stuff to the board, is you would go for your Crystal Bonds. So the safest option is activate the Crystal Bonds. This will guarantee you'll have a monster on the field should the Pot of Prosperity not help you in order to activate the Conclave. So what you'll do here, is you'll put the Rainbow Dragon into the Spell and Trap Zone, and you'll search yourself out a second Pegasus. You can then activate this one effect to banish it, to search yourself out a Rainbow Dragon, but also special summon a negated Pegasus. There we go. Because then what this means is technically you've now upped your chances of what you're going to reveal off the Pot of Prosperity. You could reveal a Miracle, you could reveal Bridge of the Heart, you could also reveal the Awakening, and that would give you the maximum amount of outcome. Now again, because I really don't worry about the extra deck, you can banish 6 again, and when you're banishing 6, because you're not that highly motivated from the extra deck, I would probably end up banishing an Omega, maybe Nightmare Phoenix, and then like a Gargoyle Cowboy if it's not like late games, game 3, and everything else like that. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so with a hand like this, obviously what you'd probably want to choose from this is you're probably going to want to choose the Awakening, and the Awakening is going to be able to give you as much as you can possibly get away with. So by putting all of those back to the bottom of the deck, activate the Awakening, reveal the Rainbow Dragon. This will then allow you to get a bridge card. So we're going to go for Rainbow Bridge of the Heart. We'll then activate the Rainbow Bridge of the Heart, obviously giving us an additional normal summon. So there's our Pegasus. Pegasus effect will trigger, and we'll get the last Crystal Rainbow Dragon from the deck. You then activate the effect to this. I usually quite like putting the negated one into the Spell and Trap Zone. It doesn't make much of a difference whatsoever. And then I'm going to search myself out a Crystal Miracle. And then what this is going to do is again give you the exact amount of control that you're going to need to deal with your opponent. So you've got your 2 set there, you've got your Rainbow Bridge, and you're going to pass to your opponent. Keeping in mind as well that if an attack is declared, you'll also get a free summon of the Rainbow Dragon on top of that. So during your opponent's turn, you activate the Miracle, you'll negate, you'll destroy, you'll trigger into the Spell and Trap Zone. Conclave and Rainbow Bridge of the Heart. Rainbow Bridge of the Heart will come back to the hand. Conclave will then let you special summon. It's a little bit sad that Conclave only specials from the deck, but I can understand that as well. So you summon out Carbuncle. Carbuncle will then trigger, bringing out a Pegasus, and a Rainbow Crystal. And then you've got the ability of Conclave to send this, target a Crystal Beast monster you control, return it to the hand. So if I want a starter for the next turn, I can return this to the hand. If I feel my opponent still has the ability to try and attack this board, then I'd probably return this to the hand, because then I can summon this turn and summon this the next turn. But we'll add back the Pegasus just so we've got a starter again for the next turn. And like I said, you've negated 1, you've bounced 2, you've already dealt with 3 of your opponent's 6 cards. Not to mention if they had any hand traps, you would have been able to pull them out as well. So then, like we've done with the other ones, we'll draw for turn. It's the second Rainbow Bridge, not the end of the world. We're going to activate the Rainbow Bridge. This will give us an additional normal summon. A normal summon the Crystal Beast, Pegasus. We've got nothing else to crystallize from the deck. But the reason we do this is we then have the ability of Rainbow Bridge to put Carbuncle into the spell and trap zone. That will then let us search out a crystal card. So you can go for an Awakening of the Crystal Ultimates, or of course you could go for a Conclave if you can't guarantee game, or a Miracle if you can't guarantee game. But from this point I'm probably going to aim to guarantee game. So then what you can do here is you can use your additional normal summon to normal summon down this Pegasus, and then you'll go to battle phase by switching this one to attack. Now obviously you can make a rank 4 if you want to. If you need to deal with back row like Tornado Dragon or anything like that, you can. We're going to attempt to go battle phase. During the battle phase, what you're then going to be able to do is you declare an attack. To get the most advantage out of all this, obviously you would make a rank 4, but like I said, you've already dealt with 3 cards your opponent controls. If I haven't need to make a rank 4, I don't need to worry about it. Obviously the Bridge of the Heart as well wouldn't have been able to trigger when I put the Ruby Carbuncle into the spell and traps. You've dealt with 4 cards. You move to battle phase. You've got well over 8k just there, but then if you absolutely need to seal the deal because they've got a monster on the board, you get to summon down this one and attack. So you've guaranteed game. You've got 6k just there, and then you've got 54 there as well. So that guarantees the game. If worst case scenario comes in and they, I don't know, like Mirror Force something, you still have the ability of the Awakening of the Crystal Ultimates as well, to put you that step further forward. So that's pretty it for the go first card. You can kind of see the consistency behind it. Like at the very least, you want to be able to get your Conclave set up with a Miracle. That will give you the best kind of routes of play possible. So now what we're going to do, after we've had back the Crystal Miracle, is we're going to shuffle up and we'll do 1 test and go in second. Like I said, the deck's not really designed to go second. It's more so for like you need to hand trap. But the idea behind that would then be that you either pull out the negates and then still set up your back row, or you use Bridge to start bouncing stuff as well. So let's do our first opening hand of 6 being 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Well, I guess we're playing Yu-Gi-Oh! And our opponent is not. I mean, that's just pure luck. You're not going to see this all the time. You would get a route with it with Foolish Barrel of Goods, so again, it's also not the end of the world. But yeah, let's play this out. I mean, we've got 2 routes to it anyway, but you'd activate Foolish Barrel of Goods. I would try and bait this out. Like if my opponent has an Omni Negate on the board, I would be using this first. I would be using this as the fear that if they know what the deck does, I have the ability to search out Mystic Mine, and that will then instantly try and bait out some interruption. Obviously, if they activate a hand trap, you get to go, okay, cool, call by. And what you're basically doing is you're showing your opponent the desperation to protect the Foolish Barrel of Goods. So then if they have like an Omni Negate on the board, whether it be some form of Toad or anything like that, they might be like, oh, they really want to be sending off this Foolish Barrel of Goods. I really need to stop it. So then if they've Ash Blossom this, and you activate this to hit the Ash, and they go Omni Negate to get rid of this, you've got rid of 2 forms of interaction from them already. You could activate the Rainbow Bridge just to bait out that 3rd and final one, because you're still in a good position with either one of these. So you activate the Rainbow Bridge, and they probably go, alright, let's negate it. So you've now dealt with 3 of their forms of interruption. You now want these to guarantee to go through. You go, cool, Mystic Mine. And like, if they haven't got a 4th form of interruption or a 4th way to out this board, then you stick there. If they do have a 4th way, and you're like, okay, what I'll do, if they've got a 4th way, you save the mine. You go normal Crystal Master, effect, tribute that off, attempt to search out. And if your opponent's like, yeah, alright, I'll just negate whatever crystal card he searches, you activate Bonds. You then activate Bonds. I'll go, right, okay, I'll negate that. That's 4 forms of interruption they've just presented on you, and you'll go, Mystic Mine. And they'll go, yep, cool, guess I'm not playing the game. And then from this point on, you really don't care. Like, you're not going to deck your opponent out, but what you're then going to be able to do is you're then going to go, right, okay, so pass your opponent. If your opponent could not out the Mystic Mine, if they out it, fine, you're going to lose. But if they can't out this, you go, cool, draw for turn, normal summon, effect, or you can hold this back. Like, it really doesn't matter. But if you normal summon effect, you put a Rainbow Dragon into the spell and trap zone, you can banish that. You'll summon one, you'll search out your Rainbow Dragon. You can make a rank 4 Baguska, and that's just going to control the board even more. It's like absolutely ridiculous. So there you go. You'd go for your Crystal Rainbow Dragon, you'll use its effect. This will then let you get a Pegasus from the deck. You can make a rank 4. Now the best one to do is if your opponent's got a lot of back row, I would personally go for Tornado Dragon. And the reason I would go for a Tornado Dragon is, so during my opponent's turn, if they are playing a back row deck, you can go, okay, cool, Tornado Dragon, deal with a back row, pass to me because they're still under mine, draw for turn. If I feel this is good enough to get my game going and my opponent still has more than 2 monsters on the board, then what you do is you go normal master, tribute master off, effect to search. Sorry, I didn't resolve this, I should have got Rainbow Dragon. That will then trigger, search out Awakening, activate Awakening if you want to, which will search you out Bridge of the Heart, or you get to search out a Conclave. Now obviously you still need to be setting yourself up with your Rainbow Dragon spells and traps, but what you're ideally doing is you're still under Mystic Mine. And there is a reason for Tornado Dragon, because you'll pass, you'll do whatever you need to, you'll draw more, you regain your resources, and when you're ready to get out of the Mystic Mine lock, you use Tornado Dragon to get rid of it yourself. Now obviously you don't want to be doing that until you're like pretty much set up with like a devastating board. So let's say this, and you've prosperityed for 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and you take not heart really, bridge, and then you get a miracle because you've got this on the board, and you see what I mean. Like basically, because you decided to make the Tornado Dragon, you control. If your opponent could knock out the Mystic Mine, you control when you get rid of it. Now obviously that was a very specific circumstance because you had to play through 4 forms of interruption. But even then, the fact that this deck could play through 4 forms of interruption, like if you regard Mystic Mine, I still had 5 cards I could have played that my opponent would then need to interact with. So unless they are setting up a 5 negate board, you're still able to play. Anyway, I hope you have found this video informative and helpful. Thank you so much for supporting these Crystal Beast videos. If you do want to see more like Crystal Beast, or you want to see more specific content, by all means comment down below and I'll be more than happy to do them for you. With all of that out of the way, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share. And as absolutely always guys, stay safe and happy dueling.